Hi, I'm Elizabeth Bell, and I'm so excited about bringing Antigua Guatemala to life for you through a series of YouTubes that we're filming in Antigua today. I moved here in 1969 from Palo Alto, California, and have been dedicated to knowing more about the city and also the restoration of it for more than 40 years. I'd like to bring to life for you some different ideas that we had about the city, starting with the Royal Palace behind me. First of all, it was from here that they governed Guatemala between 1543 and 1773, when, due to a series of earthquakes, everyone moves to Guatemala City. So what you have is a city that is really frozen in time at that time. And it was from here that the Captain General, who was appointed by the King of Spain, governed the area that today includes southern Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Costa Rica. Keep in mind that it wasn't really mapped at that time, so they governed it, I always say, in theory. But indeed, this was one of the very few buildings in the city that was built by a captain engineer that came from Spain. And as you can see here, you have the royal emblem of King Charles III. The kings never came here, but indeed he paid for the building, so he got his emblem on it. And the building dates from 1743. So what we have is that the first buildings were built kind of out of adobe, thatch, and tile, demolished on purpose to build more formal architecture. And it is absolutely splendid. So with that, you have the city abandoned, as I mentioned, and it wasn't really, well, until recently, that it came to life. And we are so excited, particularly now as we have weddings and groups and conferences visiting us today. Don't forget the NGOs, non-governmental organizations that are so important for our city. So we thought everything was built in 1543 and completely abandoned in 1773, and that was it. But indeed, you can see the date here, 1764. So this building was only 9 years old when the earthquakes hit, and that triggered the move by the Captain General to Guatemala City. We used to say, oh, it's too bad that they moved, and today we are delighted because that's truly what saved the city. So it's out of poverty throughout the 1800s that Antigua was not rebuilt. And then with the protective law from 1969, today you're not allowed to tear down anything that's colonial. So it's truly a unique city in the Americas. So after the city was abandoned in 1773, part of it was demolished, part of it just began to fall into decay over the years. Many people ask me, which earthquake destroyed it? Well, thousands of earthquakes over the centuries. So indeed what you have is a city that comes to life through visitors. In the 1800s, there were very few people here indeed. My favorite photos are the ones from the 1920s, when you can see one person here and another person there, and you can truly see how the city was falling into decay. We have a phrase called panza verde, green belly, and it is said with great pride. And it refers to those from the 1800s who lived here, very few people, but indeed they did not have any money for meat or chicken. So they thrive on avocados that are native to here, and certainly chipilín and spinaches and so forth. And also our soccer team has green and white colors. So in 1944, the city was declared a national monument by the President of Guatemala, and historic preservation begins. 1969, the Guatemalan Congress passed a protective law for the city, allotting funds for the restoration. I worked with them for 10 years, and we worked on all of the buildings just so they wouldn't fall down, basically stabilizing them. And then, of course, in 1979, the city was included in the UNESCO World Heritage Site list. And today, we're going to see the city in depth.